Yeah, I would like to give a quick briefing on the Gopal Sharma ji. So Gopal Sharma is graduated from BITS Pilani long back, and then he spent majority of his time in UAE, Middle East. Okay, with vast experience in and the strategy execution, performance management, the quality, and what more. Okay, so he has recently released a book, fantastic achievement. So thank you, Gopal Sharma ji, for joining us, and welcome to you. Welcome to you for the session. And here you go, Gopal Sharma ji, over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Abdul, and it's my pleasure to be on this panel. And Mihai, thank you very much. You set the scene for me, and it will be easier for me now what I'm sharing. So people already have the complete idea about the strategy planning and execution planning. So I'll be sharing a case study and how from planning to execution, the whole cycle takes place. Of course, it is specific to the industry I was associated with. It was construction industry. So here is the brief, I think Mr. Abdul has already mentioned. I have overall 40 years of experience. First 20 years were in the engineering and construction. That was facility management and electromechanical services, worked on some of the prestigious projects in the Middle East. And last 20 years, after doing my MBA in 2000, I gradually moved to the strategy. And I worked as a corporate strategy head for an Indian international company. Then I had my own management consulting practices. So whatever I'm sharing is based on my own work, my own experience. So we'll start, and this case study actually showcases how you can achieve the exceptional results by having a robust strategy and executing it brilliantly with all necessary operational tools and strategies, I mean, and in an integrated manner. And the industry is the construction, which is the building services, and geography is India and Middle East. Okay, so just because I'll just give you some quick background. So this is the cycle for actually for the industry, where a project starts with a feasibility study. It goes under design and drawing development process. Then you have the earthwork, then civil construction, and then MEP works, and then testing and commissioning of all the services. So there are various key stakeholders involved. The owner who puts the money, and he actually plans that, okay, he wants to build something. And then you have the project managers who actually supervise the whole process of executing, even the bidding process and everything else. MEP is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing services. So which includes basically all the services apart from the civil work. It will have all the firefighting and fire alarm system. It will have, let's say, CCTVs. It will have all the IT related, plus air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, firefighting services. So that is called in brief is MEP works. Right. So then there is a MEP. I'm just talking about things which are relevant to this particular company. So there is a MEP consultant who does the complete design of services, and he supervises the work. And he also is responsible for carrying out the inspections and approval of material and the installation work. The civil contractor is called the main contractor. He has the overall responsibility for the entire project. And typically, the MEP contractor or the services contractor works under the main contractor. So he's a subcontractor of the civil contractor. In some projects, which are large projects, MEP contractor can be directly employed by the owner or his representative as a project manager. And he will work directly with the owners, not under the main contractor, but he has to coordinate everything with the main contractor. So that is called actually nominated contractor. So the MEP services contractor has the responsibility for design validation of all the systems, not the civil work, all the systems, air conditioning, electrical, plumbing systems. Then he is supposed to identify and procure all the material which is supposed to be going into that project, and then do the installation, which is inspected by the project managers and the consultant. And finally, testing and commissioning of all systems are done, and the project is handed over, including the complete civil work. Same process goes for civil contractor as well, and the project is handed over to the owner. So this is the scope of that company I'm talking about, the MEP works. As I explained earlier, Khalid, the MEP contractor typically works under main contractor. These are two separate companies. The main contractor is basically a civil contractor, and MEP contractor is providing the electromechanical services for a building. And MEP contractor can directly work under the owner only if he is a nominated contractor, which is actually ideal, because then you are more competitive, because main contractor would put his margin on your quotation. Okay, so I'll directly come to the execution part, and I'll not go into the details of how the complete strategy planning was done. So I'm taking here the key elements from that strategy and explaining you. So one thing that, of course, Mihai talked about is what is your value proposition for your customer. So the company decided that they need to follow operational excellence strategy, focusing on minimizing the cost, and followed with excellent customer relationship. The reason why you need to have customer relationship, excellent customer relationship, especially with the main contractors and owners, is that you can become a nominated contractor and you definitely have an advantage. So these are the two elements the company was supposed to focus on. And then they looked at the internal activities and then aligning these activities to the value proposition. So there were key implications which are mentioned here. So focusing on the operational efficiencies. So there are three key parameters for any project: is the cost, quality, and the completion period. Normally, completion period is defined by the owner or owner's representative. Quality parameters are set. These are part of the tender documents. And of course, you agree for a fixed price. Once you give your bid, then the price is fixed. So you need to work within that and make a profit. So operational efficiency is very, very critical. Maintaining relations with key customers across boundaries, because this company planned to operate in multiple geographies within GCC. So across boundaries, why? Because maybe from one country, there might be a businessman who would build properties or shopping malls in other countries. So across boundaries was important. Capacity management is important because it requires large resources and of course money for executing large projects. Let's say we are talking about a project like Burj Khalifa, or we are talking about Emirates Palace Hotel in Dubai. These are huge projects where MEP itself would be around $200 million. And the project would last for maybe 4 years. Then to make operations more efficient, they plan to leverage the Global Engineering Center, which was supposed to be set up in India. So that would reduce the cost and provide support for the operations in the Middle East. Then next was the leveraging central procurement cell, because if you're executing multiple projects, you can buy in bulk and you can negotiate the price better and build the relationship with the suppliers. Then effective utilization of commercial direct rates, especially when there are variations and there are claims or there are escalations. So commercial direct rate plays a major role. Then of course, effective risk management. These projects are highly risky because the delay could happen for reasons beyond your control, and then you need to fight with the main contractor and the owner's representative. Then improving department and functional efficiencies, because we are looking at operational excellence, and then effective and efficient utilization of ERP and other IT systems. Those could facilitate the execution and tracking of such large projects. So based on these, the actions were planned. So these are the quick things which were actually planned. I'm talking about this was like 2006, 2007, when I was heading the strategy department in this organization. So operational excellence means establishing the project management office and office of a strategy management function. Because PMO, of course, was already there because we were already in projects function. So, but the PMO was primarily focusing on the client's projects. So this was extended for the projects which were related to strategy execution, but clearly defining the roles and responsibilities for the individuals. And Office of Strategy Management was focusing on not only the strategy, but we also had, we were following business excellence frameworks and participating in local awards. So it was more comprehensive than just looking at the strategy. We set up a commercial department, then the strategic role of Central Procurement Cell and Global Engineering Center was enhanced, improving the strategy execution with extensive use of SLAs, strategy maps, and balances scorecard. I'll come to that in subsequent slide. Streamlining processes through PMPI and business excellence framework. So we were following Malcolm Baldrige framework as part of the group initiative in our company as well. And PMPI is Process Management and Process Improvement Initiative. And enhancing the role of Business Excellence Department. We had a Business Excellence Department already. So we enhanced the role and extended to PMO and OSM. And these were all functions were integrated because the objective of all these three functions was same. And then we looked at economic positioning that differentiates from us from competitors is operational excellence combined with customer relationship management. Okay, here I would like to add that we also had an exercise of identifying our core competencies. So, and it was done through a very structured process, and it was done across the region. And we identified that our customer relationship management we had as existing core competencies, what we were lacking in project management. So that was desirable. So all these things were taken as part of project management initiative. And then we looked at the barriers, external and internal barriers for winning position. And mostly we found that the barriers were internal. Our thought process, our methodology, and our frameworks were not conducive to operating in across the region. At that point of time, we were primarily operating in UAE, United Arab Emirates, with office in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And our vision was, so within 5 years, we should be operating in all GCC countries, except probably Kuwait. So this is the last strategy map, almost after 3 years of refinement and working and experimenting. I'm just showing you the last one, which was developed. So if you look at, we tried to keep the strategic objectives minimum, and we focused on really key objectives. So I think it's less than 15, we always try to maintain. But when we started it in 2007, I would say we had almost like 23 objectives. I was also learning. I just started reading Copland and Norton books in, I think, in 2004. And first time 2007, without any further, training or support, I implemented the first balances scorecard just by reading the books written by Copland and Norton. By 2008, 2009, all the 5 books I could finish, and then I could really have a full-fledged strategic department. So this is, if you look at, this is a traditional one. Of course, there are a lot of improvements have been done on this. This is 4 perspectives. And you will see that there is a bias towards financial perspective having 55%. This is typical for a listed company because they are more worried about shareholders than anything else. But of course, gradually it moved further down and it came down to 25%, and more weightage was given to enablers, which is internal perspective and LNG. So, and then we also looked at, so it can be divided into two. It's one is of course the growth and strategy, and then second one is the operational excellence, the strategic themes. And these were supported by 4 key perspectives in learning and growth. That is, we are talking about enhancing the talent acquisition and future capabilities, employee engagement, IT systems and knowledge management, and then process excellence. This was the balanced scorecard in 2011 and 12, and with clearly defined and KPIs. So you have financial perspective where we are looking at the turnover and direct contribution by the division. This weightage is not suitable for the industry, but then as I said earlier, it changed. As the leadership team and the board, I think I had to educate the board about this. Okay, so looking at the lead measure, more important than looking at the lag measures and focusing on them. So it improved gradually, and it came down to almost like 20-25%, and then almost 60% was given to the enablers, which is customer and internal perspective. Sorry, internal and learning and growth perspective. So as you can see, it has 4 things. The weightages are given for each of the sub-objectives in each of the 4 perspectives. Then the unit of measure, what is the final weight it comes down to, then the frequency, how frequently these will be reported and reviewed, and what is the annual target. So these are all in Indian rupees. Sorry for other people. I just took directly the balance scorecard from, And then customer perspective, it reflects on our desire to become contractor of choice or nominated contractor, and of course, improving the project delivery with 3 parameters: time, cost, and quality. So the cost is reflected on the financial perspective, and then we have in the customer perspective is completion of the work on time, and then of course, customer satisfaction index. Okay, 13.2% is arrived at because 55% is the financial perspective. And within that financial perspective, you have 60% given to the revenue and growth. And that 60% is divided into 3 measures, which are turnover, DC, and cash generation. So 40, 30, 30. So you multiply 55% by 60%, then 40%, you arrived at 13.2%. So 13.2% is the 40% of the 60% of the overall 55% for the financial perspective. Okay. I'm trying to answer the question, so I hope I'll be able to complete, including the Q&A time, which is given.
Please go ahead. That's good.
Okay. Okay. So customer perspective, then you have internal process perspective where we are looking at the marketing, business development. So order hit ratio is basically how many bids you have submitted, how many are awarded to you. And it's close to 10 to 15%. That is the kind of industry average I'm talking about. Of course, we had much, much better as we implemented all the systems and processes. Developing new geographies and new verticals. And for that also, we had the same kind of a measure that, okay, how many bids we are able to submit and how many we are executing or we are awarded. And then, of course, major focus was reducing the cost of execution. So we are looking at the man hours and the cost of materials and all those things. And then there is another focus area was risk and commercial management, which was identified as a value proposition and the focus area. And then be a good corporate citizen. We already had actually At that point of time, the safety, of course, was the primary concern for any construction industry. And we also had a sustainability scorecard. So it was already built in since 2007. We were already having the sustainability. Though the scope was limited, we were focusing only on our impact of our operations on the environment, and how we can take sustainability measures to reduce the impact. So we are looking at the wastage, we are looking at the recycling of the material and all those kind of things at that point of time. And then, of course, the improving project planning, monitoring, and control. So we were looking at having some kind of IT solutions for those kind of activities. And learning and growth is more on the capabilities. So what we did is we extensively used indexes, which are composite of multiple measures. So safety performance index will have all the lag and lead measures related to safety, for example. So it will have all the training, it will have everything. Of course, we will be tracking the minor incidents and then major accidents and all those kind of things. So it will be arrived at one single composite index. But then the safety manager or safety department, he had full-fledged balanced scorecard where everything was included. So this is how most of the things were arrived at, because we wanted to focus on, at least at the leadership level, not to go into too much detail, but look at overall performance of a particular department or a function. The same way, capability readiness index, we identified for next 5 years what kind of resources we'll be requiring, what kind of training and development needs will be there. All those were included in capability readiness index. And that was part of HR function. Attrition rate, we were talking achievement of succession plans, employee engagement score, IT readiness index. So we had almost 9 different IT solutions which we were supposed to implement to achieve what we were looking at as our value proposition. Same way, knowledge management index. So we had a knowledge management portal sharing best practices across projects and regions and all that. So that is primarily the measures which were included. So how we implemented all this? Now you looked at the background about having a strategy map, developing the strategy map, and then have a balanced scorecard. And there are a number of things. And for those to get executed, what we did is we tried to integrate whatever we were doing and then putting it into one single framework. And I named it actually as an integrated business excellence model, which integrates all the best practices for business excellence. So if you look at in the middle, what this is actually is a Malcolm Baldrige Business Excellence Award model. And if you look at because why we took this as a core is this is one of the most comprehensive. This and EFQM model, which is typically used in Europe and the Middle East. Dubai Quality Award is also based on EFQM model, and I think other GCC countries also are following. So this is one of the most comprehensive model which covers all aspects of the organization, starting from the leadership, strategy planning, customers, and market focus. Then we are looking at the process management, workforce, and the results. And then we are also looking at, as a criteria 4, is measurement analysis and knowledge management. And the context is, of course, we are looking at organizational profile, environment, relationships, and challenges. So this is something we were already having. We inherited from the corporate, and we were working on it. So we took this as a base to integrate all the best practices from different, including the quality management system, health and safety, and all this. So I'll just quickly go through how it was done. So following this model necessitates you to have the processes. So what we adopted was the enterprise process model. We'll be quickly looking in little more details, and it looks at all the processes which are basically management processes or leadership processes. Then you have value creation, which includes demand creation process and demand fulfillment. So it looks at entire operations of the organization. And then you have the support functions, basically, which are HR, IT, procurement, those are the support function. And that is how you deliver value to the customer. So having all these processes, group them, documenting them, mapping them, and identifying the KPIs, that is the full scope of adopting this enterprise process model. And aligned to that is the review architecture, where each of the KPI or measure will be reviewed, what forum it will go, who are the participants, and what is the frequency. And then, of course, quality, health and safety, environment management system. So we already had quality and health and safety. We also implemented environment management system, and we did it in an integrated manner. So we had one manual for all the 3 ISO standards. And then finally, we had a kind of a solution which we implemented. And all these were integrated, and the Office of Strategy Management and PMO together were responsible for it. And context is always the strategy. So this is how, if you look at, this is how it looks. So you have all the TQM tools, Sigma, Six Sigma, value stream mapping, value chain analysis, operations. You look at the PMO was responsible for operations. And then you have Office of Strategy Management, and that along with PMO, together we were managing the whole strategy and project management review and development process. So all these actually were conducive for executing the strategy. And without having the right kind of tools for executing the strategy, will not be successful. So we already discussed about Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. The company, because they were operating in Dubai, they also participated in Dubai Quality Award. So we also adopted EFQM framework, because the Dubai Quality Award is based on EFQM model. But they're similar, only thing is the representation is slightly done in a different way. So this is enterprise process model. If you look at it, the expectation, statutory requirements are key inputs. So you look at the expectations from all the stakeholders. And then you have on the left-hand side, you have the management processes, which are including leadership, corporate citizenship, strategic planning, organizational governance, performance improvement, and change management, internal, external communication. These are typically management processes. You have demand creation processes, where you have market development, customer acquisition, channel partners, if you have channel partners management. So this is all, these come under demand creation. Then you have demand fulfillment, where you have new product, the design processes, production and delivery, and then service processes. So this will be different for different industries. Of course, there will be specific processes to specific, but broadly, these are actually in 4 broad categories. You can divide them. And then finally, you have the support processes, where human resources, facilities, and environment management. Then you have finance and budgeting and information and knowledge management. These are typical. And quality management, health and safety, and environment management. Typically, those are based on PDCA cycle, but of course, now with the new standard, the scope is also improved. They also talk about the strategy and all those things. So I think they are, in my experience, they are all converging now. And it becomes easy to coordinate. So this is the process cascade. We had 3-level cascading done. So you have strategic level processes, which is level 1. Then you have the business process level. For example, marketing is one single at business process. And then you have number of sub-processes under it. So it will be segmentation, doing segmentation, need analysis, customer need analysis. It may be another process. So you have number of sub-processes which are at the implementation level. Right? So if you look at implementation level, and if you look at the procurement, probably you will be looking at the bill processing and then vendor management and all those kind of things. So you will have number of sub-processes. And this is the review architecture which we identified. So on the left-hand side, you have the forum and attendees. So board level reviews where chairman of the board, managing director, directors and company secretaries, they would attend. Strategic level business unit heads. Then at the business council, we also had a business council. So it shows that who are the attendees. Then you have the frequency, how frequently these meetings will be held and performance will be reviewed, and what kind of reports will be available for reviewing the performance. This is on the rightmost side, you have the MIS. So you have mostly balanced scorecards plus some specific reports related to some specific initiatives and all that. So this is predefined. Everybody knew who is participating in which review forum, what he's supposed to present, and this was done in a very disciplined manner. And this is some of the screenshots of the performance management software that we used. So we used extensively this to track the performance because the operations were really complex gradually starting from 2005, I think. Then by 2009-10, we were already operating in multiple geographies. So the complexity increased. And then we had country level balance scorecards and then balance scorecard for the individual roles and projects based on the local work environment and local business environment. So this is how we were able to track all the initiatives online, how the progress is, then what kind of the resources were spent and all those kind of things. And we were able to generate the reports for most of our requirement through the software. Okay, I think Manish has given a number of questions for me, so I'll take it at the end so that I'll be able to address comprehensively. Let's quickly look at the outcomes, okay? Because if all this pain you have taken it, and it is, I think, it's like almost 3 years it took to execute whatever I have shown you, and these were actually executed. All the initiatives were executed and the impact we will be looking at now. So it was 2004, we were only in UAE. By 2008, except Kuwait, we were already there in all other 5 countries. So we were already there in Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. I think at that point of time, we didn't have a job in Saudi Arabia, but we had a joint venture, and experimentation in this case, because it's a traditional industry, is that what business model we should be going, but you can't implement a business model and then see its failure or it's not working, and because it's very, very expensive. So what we did is for the new countries, we appointed consultants. Okay, we took their help to look at from all possible scenarios, and we used scenario planning extensively with different models, like becoming an independent company operating in a geography, or having a partner, local partner, or making a joint venture, or only a sponsor. So various business models were explored when going to a new geography. So this is the group business excellence model. This is how we fared. So starting in 2006, the score was out of 1,352. By 2011-12, we were very close to 550. So it's almost like 40% improvement in our original score. And believe me, it's very, very tough to have that kind of improvement in the business excellence model, what we are talking about. In 2011, we won the Dubai Quality Award, which is one of the most prestigious award in UAE. These are the local awards. From 2008, we started participating in the local awards. These are across Middle East. So 2008, we won the Project Manager of the Year. This was for individual. But 2008, we also won the Health and Safety Award. 2010, we won 3 awards. These are the 3 topmost awards. The MEP Contractor of the Year, then MEP Project of the Year, and Project Manager of the Year. And the performance was repeated in 2011. Again, we won the MEP Contractor of the Year, MEP Project of the Year. And 2012, again, we won the MEP Contractor of the Year. I was with this organization for up to 2012. So beyond that, I don't have the data, but if you go to their website, you will find every year they are still winning the awards, and now they are winning awards across the region. So Oman, they have their own local awards. They are winning there as well, because the base foundation was very, very strong. This is overall, if you look at from 2005 to 2011, and we had our vision, which we set in 2005-06, was 2,100 crore revenue with 251 profit. And we were able to achieve it. Sorry. Oh. If you look at the employee engagement score, and this is across multiple divisions within the group, our score in 2007, it was 0.84 to, it improved to 2.12 within the 2 years. We are looking at 2007, it was 0.84, and then 2009, it was 2.12. So that's it from me. And then probably I can take the questions if there is time.
Take a couple of questions. I think you can answer 1 or 2. Then rest we can continue offline answering the questions. Yeah.
Okay. Can you read out? I'm not able to see the questions actually.
Yeah. The key. How was the organizational culture? Was a challenge.
Sorry.
Yeah, that is second one is how do you measure the performance appraisals? Okay, so these are the just top.
Okay, now I can see. Okay. See, challenges. Okay, it's only the mentality part was very, very tough. The first challenge comes is the mentality or the mindset of the people. So you need to educate them, and you need to keep pushing. The first people to be pushed is the leadership team. I had tough time with the leadership itself, and it took me almost 6 months to convince. Fortunately, I had some guy from corporate who was already there in that some activities he was carrying out for other divisions. So he helped me out. And you need to keep talking about this, keep pushing. It's not easy. Initially, it is not easy. But once you see the results, because it requires a total mindset change and the way you have been operating your business, you need to depart from that, and then need to be come out of the comfort zone and do things differently. So that is something not easy. Organizational culture, it was a challenge, as I told you earlier. But then gradually it moved because nobody likes to be measured in terms of performance. So implementing a scorecard with clearly defined performance indicators and then having the targets, it's not easy. But then, of course, gradually you need to do it. So we had initially very simple scorecard with some important KPIs in the first year. When we didn't implement 100% scorecard, we were still working on it. So we started introducing those kind of KPIs. Earlier, even those were not there. It was all that how much money you made and whether you completed the project on time and whether the customer is happy.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. It was aligned all the way. It was aligned all the way. There's no 2 ways. All the subcontractors were supposed to follow whatever subcontractors we appointed. All the vendors had to follow what we implemented, and they knew that their performance will be measured. Okay, in terms of delivery, in terms of price, we had always, for the large orders, we had competitive bid. So absolutely, there is no doubt about pricing. And then we negotiated hard, and they were all communicated. They knew what we are doing. And most of them aligned to us.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. So
Yeah.
anything else? Appraisals, of course, appraisals were aligned
You
completely.
collect all the questions and then
Yes.
pass it to you, Gopalji, for your answers. And
Yes.
thank you very
Yeah.
much. Fantastic. All the top buildings
Welcome.
in Dubai, you covered it. Okay. So thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
And we keep
Thank
posting you the questions to answer the audience. Okay. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.